REAKER. We'll be back in a moment.
This portion of programming on WHPC is brought to you on behalf of the Nassau County Bar Association, helping both the public and lawyers since 1899. They are the largest suburban bar association in the country. The Nassau County Bar Association offers clinics where you can meet privately with an attorney to prevent or solve legal problems involving Hurricane Sandy, foreclosure, wills, or elder law. Speakers on almost any legal topic are also available to schools or community groups. They can also help lawyers advance their legal careers and offer a place to network. Learn more about the Nassau County Bar Association by calling 516-747-4070 or visit nassaubar.org.
Once again, we continue with Law You Should Know. From the Mineola Law Firm of Shane, Doxton, Easy, Corker, and Sauer, here is attorney Kenneth J. Landau.
We're talking hi, this is Ken Landau. Today's show is about the journey of Paula Hoyer. She's an attorney and now has become a pastry chef, and we're talking about her journey and how her legal career helped her to be a successful educator, author, and chef. She's known as the Kosher Baker, has written several books, including The Holiday Kosher Baker, The Kosher Baker, The New Passover Menu, and The Healthy Jewish Kitchen, which is her most recent book. She originally, had a law degree, of course, and then when she was changing careers, earned a pastry degree. Paula, have you found that having different niches in let's say, the food or pastry field has helped you stand out as a chef and educator and author?
I think that when I first started thinking about writing a cookbook, which first occurred to me when I was editing somebody else's cookbooks and thought I could do this myself, was what's out there and what hole could I fill? Because there are so many cookbooks, and there continue to be so many cookbooks out on the market. And I remember looking around and thinking that there weren't enough great recipes that were dairy-free for kosher people who do not mix milk and meat at a meal. So I decided to take all the recipes I learned at the Ritz Escoffier cooking school in Paris and convert these French pastries into dairy-free desserts, and that's where I started. Because, I'm Jewish and I know that community, it seems like a great way to start building. But right away, the books had appeal wider than that. And I sell books at so many different kinds of places, whether they're book festivals, farmers markets, bookstores, all different people with all different backgrounds, whether Jewish or not, and I see that people are always looking for, easy and fresh recipes.
And more people, for a variety of reasons, are looking for dairy-free recipes.
And also other, allergen-free recipes. I do a lot of gluten-free recipe development. My latest cookbook, The Healthy Jewish Kitchen, actually has a chocolate quinoa cake with cooked quinoa in it that is pureed. And it's a gluten-free recipe. It's great for Passover. It's a dense, delicious chocolate cake. It's been featured online by some very famous blogs and magazines around the world, which I'm very proud of because so many people have allergies today, and I really feel a responsibility to use my skills to help that audience. So whether they're looking for nut-free, dairy-free, vegan, I can come up with recipes that work for people and their families.
And I assume that your recipes are not only kosher, but healthy and delicious.
Yes, and I've worked really hard over the last 2 books to move away from processed ingredients. I think many people today, especially busy people, like lawyers, really need to eat lighter food to keep up their energy when they're working and just to, to help stave off whether it's diabetes, heart disease, and any of the things we know are connected to overeating and eating the wrong foods. So I really tried to educate people about making good choices about what they eat and trying to stay away from processed ingredients.
And when you are traveling around the country and giving your cooking classes and promoting your books, do you mention about the fact that you were a lawyer at one time?
Most venues I speak at always want me to talk about that because in any group of people, whether I'm speaking to a group of 25 or I've even addressed groups as large as 900, there are always people out there who love hearing the transition story. Love hearing how I had one career and then switched to something completely different. So many people have careers that they just, they're not as excited about, or may have other ideas of things that they want to do. And I also think for women, many women want to find careers that are flexible.
And maybe also fun.
Absolutely fun. I mean, hey, cooking school was definitely more fun than law school, but I enjoyed practicing law. I didn't leave it because I didn't enjoy what I was doing. I just had opportunities that I pursued, and I will tell you that I still pay my New York bar dues. I am still a lawyer today. I feel very strongly that all people, but especially women, always need to have a backup plan.
And a lot of people want the option to do a new career. Perhaps they were laid off. Perhaps they are tired of their original career, and this is just as good as a second career as any.
Yes, exactly. And there are definitely, ways to kind of make it profitable. And there's so many aspects of the food business that are interesting. I branched into a product line last year that I'm still working on. I'm starting to teach boot camps, like small group classes. I'm trying to write an ebook right now to try a different business model. And now that my youngest children are going off to college this year, my twins are leaving in a month, it gives me, opportunities to pursue other things as well. I have more time on my hands. I always tell people, if they're interested in a potential second career, that while they're working, before they just stop and start something completely new, find a way to pursue it on the side. Write a blog about what you're interested in. Find a community of people who are doing what you think you want to do. And slowly figure out how you can turn that into a career.
And also, it's a good idea to test it out. And maybe some people are just taking your courses or reading your books for fun, just to have some hobby they enjoy.
Absolutely. I mean, I have people, I have fans who, make my recipes every holidays. I have another following of people who really like the gluten-free and the healthy food. There's so many different communities of people who are looking for good recipes for their families, for themselves. I mean, like I said, everybody has to eat, and why not eat healthy food?
And I think you touched on it before. Perhaps tell us more about how your legal training has helped your business.
Well, my legal training helps me all of the time. I almost took it for granted that I knew how to write, but then out in the world, when I see how other people write, especially people in my profession, more people in my profession end up in food not having had legal training. So for me, having had this training, I've become a great editor and a great writer. Freelance writing is a good part of my work and always has been. I write articles for websites. I write for many food magazines, Hadassah magazine, B'nai B'rith magazine. I have a regular column for the JewishFoodExperience.com. I write for my own website, thekosherbaker.com. I know how to write. I had great people in my law firm take apart my brief writing and really teach me how to communicate. And not only did they teach me how to communicate on paper, but as a lawyer, you learn how to communicate orally as well. Even if you're not a litigator, you're constantly asked to make presentations in front of small groups, large groups. If it's not necessarily court, it could just be, your colleagues at your law firm or your clients. So I knew how to communicate. I knew how to get up in front of people and communicate clearly to people.
And of the different things you've done, what do you enjoy the most?
I love creating recipes, I have to say. That, for me, I'm like the mad scientist in the kitchen, and I'm one of those people who could taste things and then go home and create it, so I enjoy that. And I go on television about 3-4 times a year, and I do cooking classes on TV, and that's really fun. I did a Food Network competition back in 2011, and that was definitely more stress than fun, but I'm glad I had that experience. But I like teaching, I really do. I like teaching people how to cook, empowering people to get in the kitchen, both adults and kids. So I still really enjoy getting up in front of a live audience and telling them my story and hoping to inspire them in their own lives both to think about their career in different ways and to think about how they cook for themselves and their families and their friends in different ways. So that's probably what I enjoy the most.
And we just have a few minutes left in this program, but would you ever, do you think you'll return to something involving the law?
I could. I've had thoughts over the years of doing a food profession related law practice, because these days with the wild west of the internet and so many people taking other people's recipes, the copyright, the trademark, the contract issues come up for me all the time. So I've thought about it, but you never know. I'm only on my third career, so who knows? I'm still young. We'll see what I come up with next.
And what other advice would you offer lawyers who are thinking about switching careers?
Do research. Find people who are doing what you want to do and figure out how they got there. Look at their resumes. Look at their career path. See what you need to do to go from, A to B. And just be patient with yourself. It's not something you can do overnight that you could do responsibly. You have to take time to kind of figure out the path for you, given your financial situation, your family, demands. You have to, take it slowly. But I would absolutely encourage anyone, if they have something that really fires them up, to absolutely pursue it.
And as you mentioned before, not just for lawyers, but people should think about what they are passionate about and what they enjoy doing.
Absolutely. I mean, you could do things in the food profession even on the side while you're practicing law and doing something else. There's so many opportunities to write, create recipes, and join communities of people.
And we just have a moment left. Tell us about what information is on your website.
So my website, thekosherbaker.com, has my videos. It has lots of great recipes. It has links to a lot of my press, links to information about Jewish holidays, and just lots and lots of content there. And you can also order my new cookbook through the website as well. I'm on social media regularly, trying to teach people recipes and giving them access to, more information about how to eat better.
Okay, I would like to thank our guest, Paula Hoyer, the Kosher Baker, for being our guest on Law You Should Know and talking about how lawyers and others can transition to another, perhaps more satisfying career. If you missed any portion of the program, you can find the podcast by searching WHPC on iTunes or Spreaker.com. That's Spreaker. This is your host, Ken Landau, and please join us for another program next week at this same time on Law You Should Know on 90.3 FM radio, the voice of Nassau Community College, and also on the internet at nccradio.org.